What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the third video in the My Week in Anime series. Again, we're mainly going to be covering Anime Spring 2022. Some new shows came out and decided to actually watch a couple of shows that I kind of put on the back burner, but then decided to watch the first episode to see if I wanted to get into it. And at the end, I'm going to be talking about some shows that are older that I watched, and one of them that I just started that is freaking insane. But before we get into it, again, if you guys like what you see, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, then also turn that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another upload. Number 2, I do stream live on Twitch, twitch.tv/ItsDaveTVGaming. That link will be in the description. Again, I'm mainly playing games like Destiny 2. I'll be playing Valorant because the new act is coming out, a variety of other games as well. So if you want to tune in, again, like I said, that link will be in the description. And number 3, if you want to get involved with my community, I do have a Discord. That link will be in the description as well. Again, we have people talking about a variety of games, anime, PC tech. I literally just built like another custom keyboard. Like, I was a Lego kid, so that stuff's like really fun for me. But if you want to join my Discord, like I said, that link will be in the description. All right, first up, I want to talk about the Rising of the Shield Hero. Okay, it was a slow ramp up until the 3rd episode. They finally took down the tortoise, but they didn't really take it down. You know what I'm saying? You kind of figured that out at the end of the episode, but I am very happy they finally got to some fight scenes in the show. Holy crap. It was a very slow ramp up to that episode, but we're going to be diving a little deeper into that show when the next episode comes out. I'm still very excited. Shield Hero is a 10 out of 10 for me that first season. So like I said before, I have high expectations for season 2, and I'm hoping it delivers. Next, Kaguya-sama Love is War. Still solid rom-com. I got no issues with this show. If you want something... If you want one of the better rom-coms out there that takes a simple situation and makes it insane with actual good animation, this is the one, baby. Next, I want to talk about Data Live. Okay, the recent episode that came out, Nia had her inversion, and you kind of figure out why. And I don't want to ruin too much because the show has obviously had a kind of a slow ramp up when it comes to the actual like story of the show. Obviously, it is focused on, I guess, like the harem style stuff, like sealing the spirits and all that great stuff, but now we're getting a little more in-depth in the DEM and why they're doing what they're doing, and it's still a little confusing for me. But Nia ends up dropping a bomb at the end of the episode about like how spirits were originally human, which is kind of something that like I feel like everybody in that show has thought at some point, especially with like the origami situation in season 3 where she became a spirit, and all these other ones like, well, we're pure spirits. It's like she's like, I have no idea what that means. I'm pretty sure we were all human. So that's like the truth bomb at the end of that episode. But Data Live, it's going solid. I'm liking it. Let's talk I'm Quitting Heroing. It's kind of been like a slow ramp up, you know, the past 3 episodes. Again, it is like more of a comedy fantasy type show, and so I totally get that, but I'm just hoping it gets a little better down the road. All right, I want to talk about the Executioner and Her Way of Life, and I don't know why people are crapping on the show. I really don't. The only issue I have with the show is that the story is kind of a slow ramp up. Like, we're 4 episodes in, and you know, obviously in that first episode, which I'm so happy that they murked the bland MC right off the bat. Like, that just took me by surprise, and that drew me in. You're like, well, it's boring, female MC, no emotions, she's a villain. All those things are different, yes, but unique in a sense, right? You can't sit here and tell me that she's boring, especially when you introduce a character like Akiri who has the power over time and can pretty much heal herself and bring the whole world back in time, apparently. And so you get into this different situation of how do we handle this, number 1. Number 2, she's pretty sure she's seeing Akiri in her dream, so it's like, what the heck do I do now? And I'm glad that there is this type of isekai. There hasn't been something where we get to see the quote-unquote villain side. And in the recent episode, they go over, you know, Menno's backstory and why the heck she even became a priestess in the first place. And so I'm liking it. I really don't know why people are crapping on it. I think the show is going to get way better in the next couple episodes. So yeah, that's all I got. Let's talk about your boy Kong Ming, bro. This show is the hidden gem of the season. It's easily my number 2 show right behind Spy Family. And it just gets better and better every episode. Characters are great, music's great, animation's great, situations are great. I just don't have any issues with the show. It's hard to complain about a show when you have such good synergy with all these elements. You have an isekai Chinese general who's now a manager for a music artist. Like, it's something that's absolutely ridiculous and should not work, but it works flawlessly. Okay, if you haven't watched your boy Kong Ming, go Go watch it, bro. All right, let's talk. The Greatest Demon Lord is reborn as a typical nobody. I'm liking it so far, man. Like this recent episode, like obviously they go like on a date and the date gets interrupted. They get like quote unquote captured, but they kind of give a little bit of a reveal into like the new Demon Lord, who is apparently a person that Ard knew when he was previously the Demon Lord. And so it's getting into the situation where, number one, what the heck is going to happen? And what is going to be Ard's stance on this? And how is he going to conceal himself to be like, I'm not the previous Demon Lord, I swear, because he pretty much got caught in 4K almost. It was pretty close. And then at the end of that episode where the queen was like, yeah, I want you to be my husband, but it was a little more blunt than that, if you know what I'm saying. Oh, bro, that had me rolling. I think the reason I like this show is because it reminds me of Misfit at Demon King Academy, but more of a comedy. Like, focus on the comedy a little more. Like, obviously he's OP. We don't know how OP. Probably not as OP as Anos. But it gives me the same vibes. I want to talk about Trapped in a Dating Sim. The world of Otome games is tough for mobs, bro. I said this last week, and I did not think I was going to like this show. I'm liking the show. Leon is a menace, bro. I love this guy. Like, if you haven't kept up, basically they're in like a mecha battle, and he has to battle the 5 I guess like love interests that are in the game or whatever, and he just completely mollywops the first 4, bro. It is absolutely hilarious, ridiculous. He like verbally abuses them. I make it sound bad, but it's so hilarious, bro. Like even his sister like tries to set him up for failure, and it just doesn't work. Like, so good. I enjoy seeing menacing characters come out of the woodwork, bro. It's great. I'm going to be quick on these next ones because I think they're good. I just might put them on hiatus. Love After World Domination. All I know is that last episode, bro, Fudo. If you've seen that episode, bro, Fudo's eating good, man. That's all I got to say. In any event, still just hilarious Power Ranger type vibe. Aharon-san, I haven't watched a recent episode, but it's slice of life. It's cute. It's funny. Like, if you like that, definitely watch it. It's good. There's a lot of shows that have my attention right now. Skeleton Knight Another World. Again, kind of like that Overlord type vibe, a little more comedy. If you like that, great, awesome. I am just very invested in a lot of other shows, such as Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie. Okay, this recent episode, I liked it. There was some progression. We learned a little more about, Shikamori and what she likes. We learned about Izumi's family, what the heck the backstory, a little bit of the backstory on like why he's like unlucky or cursed or like whatever. So we learn a little bit more about that. There's a little bit of progression. I like that. The first couple episodes were so slow, and like I mentioned previously, it's hard to have a show about a relationship and developing one when it's already kind of established. I do like that there's growth there, but again, I did like the recent episode, so we'll have to see where the rest of it goes. Now that I talk about Shikamori's, I want to talk about this one that I did not think it was going to be good, because Shikamori's was like a little bit of a disappointment. Like I said, A Couple of Cuckoos, bro. The first episode drop is good. It's so good, bro. Premise of the first episode. You realize that the main character and this girl were pretty much accidentally switched at birth. Okay, he's in with like, middle class family. She's rich. That's kind of the like implication that he gets. He's like, hey, his parents, we're going to set up to meet your biological parents. We're all going to hang out. He's like, okay, that's cool. He's like, I'm actually going to go to the school to study for a couple hours, and then I'll show up at the meeting. They're like, okay, don't be late, whatever. On his way there to the school, sees a girl on a bridge. She's like taking a video of like pretending to off herself pretty much, and he saves her, but she's like, hey, I wasn't going to do it. I'm doing this because I don't want to be in this arranged marriage. And he does something dumb, gets blackmailed, and then has to spend the day with her to be her contractual boyfriend. They get a couple pictures together so they could send it to her parents to be like, hey, I have a boyfriend, by the way, so I can't get married or whatever. And basically, she sends a picture, and they're like, haha, that's real funny. See you in a little bit. And she's like, okay, well, I gotta go. Like, I'll probably won't see you again, but I wish I could marry someone like you. Because he ends up like protecting her in the episode and all that stuff. And turns out, he gets to the meeting, he meets his biological parents, and his parents are like, oh, we've been keeping this from you, but, since we love you and we want to meet our biological daughter, by the way, we figured that if you two get married, you'd both be our kids. And turns out that the chick he just spent all day hanging out with is the chick that he's going to marry, or like have the arranged marriage to. So funny. And then at the end of the episode, there's obviously multiple love interests, and The other love interest is the chick at his school who is in first place and he's in second place for the class rating. And he's like, I'm going to beat you and confess to you. And then you have his sister, who's not really his sister. It's like technically the other girl's like sister, but she has no idea. Like, but she's like, well, you're not really my brother now. A little suspicious area there. First episode is great. The setup for the rest of the series was great. Characters are great. Story's solid already, bro. I'm just blown out of the water. So this is a series that definitely, keep your eye on. I know people were talking about summertime rendering. I haven't had the opportunity to watch it yet, but I've heard it's extremely good, and I've seen clips of the first 2 episodes. Like I mentioned before, if you want like a ReZero type beat that's not an isekai and it's actually, still as messed up, that one might be the one to watch. All right, the big one. The recent episode of Spy Family, bro. So good. Dynamics of, Lloyd and Yor, great. Anya brings them together even more. I really do not have any complaint. It's hard to have complaints about a show when it does romance properly, rom-com properly, comedy properly, and action properly. It's hard to complain about a show like that. Their dynamics are great. In the show, lady gets robbed. Yor goes after him on instinct. Lloyd's like, oh, you can't find him? And she's like looking around for it. Anya pretty much like hears him in the crowd. And she's like, but she can't tell Lloyd that. She can't just be like, oh, there's the guy. Like, how did you know that? No, she points at the restaurant and says, I want to eat cake. And then he notices the guy there and gets him. Such great dynamics, man. And it's only gonna get better. Like, Spy Family's my number 1 for the season. Yep. That's all I got. All right, the next 2 I'm going to talk about were suggested to me to watch. So number 1, Healer Girl. Okay, pretty much the premise is that music in and of itself is a way to heal people. It's its own type of medicine, pretty much. Certain people have certain powers to sing, soothe them, blah, blah, blah. But obviously you have to do it in a proper way or you could potentially hurt somebody, just like in what would be the real medical field, right? So watch the first episode. I think it's an interesting concept. Music's pretty good too. People singing on that show, very good. Will I continue the series like back to back? I think there's 4 episodes out right now. Probably not. I'll probably watch it, at the end of the season or when things slow down because, I'm a music guy. And if there's good singing, I'm going to have to watch it, bro. And it's funny too. So if you like kind of like that slice of life, maybe a little bit of medical background tossed in there with some solid animation, definitely check that out. Lastly would be Tomodachi Game. Okay, I just watched the first episode of this because I've heard mixed reviews about it, to be honest. Like, the first half of the entire first episode was so fast. Oh, but at the end of that first episode, like I said, bro, like same thing with Trapped in a Dating Sim, bro. I love menacing characters, and the main character of the show turns into a menace at the end. So people are saying the MC is very good. So now I'm like, I might have to watch this one. So if you want something that's similar to a lighter version potentially of something like Saw or what's the dang show that no one talks about anymore that was hot? Squid Games. That's what it was. You want something like that? Oh yeah. That to the end of that first episode is gonna pull you in, bro. Yep. All right, moving on to shows that I've watched that have already previously come out. Full episodes are out, full series are out for this. It's Ibuki Bisco. Like, I don't know how to say it. All I know is this was a very solid apocalyptic action comedy. Like, its history and backstory was interesting. The story was great. The animation was solid. The characters were unique, and the character dynamics between everybody was awesome. Like, basically, it's set in this apocalyptic world where there's rust, and rust ends up turning into an actual disease, like for humans. So like your arm would rust, it could potentially break pretty much, and mushrooms can heal that. But the consensus that the government tells these people is that mushrooms cause rust. Well, that's not necessarily true. And so it goes into this whole like, hey, we need to find the rust eater mushroom to prove that, mushrooms are bad, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of twists and turns. Just crazy. I can't even talk about, because if I say anything, it'll completely ruin the show. If you want an action show that's placed in an apocalyptic Japan with just giant mushrooms for no reason, This show was great. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10. And lastly, I started Tact OP Destiny. Okay, now I'm on like episode like 5 or 6 right now. I'm going to give you guys my synopsis later. I like music. It's kind of like post-apocalyptic there again too. So good, bro. If you haven't watched this, and even if you're not into music, bro, the story and the backstory of this show is like actually insane. So I'm watching. I'll give you guys my synopsis, but for right now, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend getting into it. Alright guys, that's the video. I appreciate you guys sticking around for it. Again, this is a long one. I plan to make these a little shorter, you know, the longer we get into Anime Spring 2022 and any cool things that pop up that I'd like to talk about. But again, if you like the video, drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitch, join the Discord, just get in there, bro. But anyway guys, hope to catch you in the next one.